Alrighty, okay. We now have the community open session, 30 minutes, equally divided among each speaker. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand. Larry Horning, anybody else? Larry?
All 30 minutes. I was wondering if you could elaborate any more on the executive session that was held. Were there any, was it just that personnel, or were there any other topics that were discussed?
It was strictly personnel.
I noticed that there was some changes on the township's website regarding the roadmaster. Do you have any information that you can share with the public about that?
Well, at our reorganization meeting, the first Monday in January, we appointed Steve Culp as the roadmaster, and he is the roadmaster. And later in the evening, we will be announcing that we upped one of the temporary snowplow operators to a semi-supervisory position under Steve, and that is the temporary position that will end when the snow and ice ends.
Okay.
All right. You've got 28 minutes.
Well, it sounds like you covered all the topics that we discussed.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We've got minutes for the January meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as read.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have some bills to pay.
I make a motion, we pay bills in the amount of $92,461.33.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will note that of that $92,000, we have $35,229.37 worth of salt. And it isn't over, unfortunately. Okay, reports. Let's see, we have a roadmaster's report, and Mike, anything
Yes.
for you?
Yes, you have my report of February 4. The only thing I have tonight that isn't listed elsewhere on the agenda would be on page 2, near the bottom, the game and exhaust land development. I had sent over a recommendation letter for a final release for that project. They have expired their maintenance period. A final inspection has been done, and we're recommending a release of the remaining amount of $3,927.30 for that land development.
I make that a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is that just the memo?
And the stormwater.
And stormwater, thank you, Carol. Carol reminded me about one I missed here. That was for Leroy Martin, and the address is 522 Staver Road. We have a stormwater plan that we received, and that's still under review. However, we have a memorandum of understanding and a stormwater management agreement for that project.
I'll make a motion, we approve the memorandum of understanding and the stormwater agreement between Leroy Martin and the Township of Brecknock.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's all I have.
Okay, I move that we accept the roadmaster, engineer, SEO, and zoning reports as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I do have some comments on the roadmaster part of it.
Excuse me, go ahead.
I've been your roadmaster for 15 years. I feel the road crew and I have tried hard to maintain your roads and to keep them free of ice and snow. Back in October, I mentioned to the board I will assist where needed to make a smooth transition. I got no replies. It seemed like there was no interest. In November, I mentioned again. in a township meeting, I will assist where needed. No replies, no discussion, seemed like there was no interest. And once again in December, I will assist at this point if there's an emergency or really need it. No replies, no assists. So at that point, you get the feeling they want you out of here. And I believe that. Then it gets to the point where we went into the new year, and I have never been in that garage since December. Yet we have two other supervisors who pretty near daily were down there with the road crew. Now the thing that happened was we had a couple little snow events, and I do know that the roadmaster even mentioned to the chairman of the board, Mr. Wise, that he wished I would have stayed on to assist and call for the movement of them trucks. Well, lo and behold, there seemed to be no interest then either. Then we got into an event where the trucks weren't called out. I don't want to interfere with the road crew. The road crew knows what they're doing. They don't need people watching over them. They've spent 15 years with our programs. So I wanted to know, over the radios, over the scanners in the people's houses, telephones ringing, our roads are icy, why are our trucks not on the move? Well, what I do, I call Mr. Wise, chairman here. I told him on the phone, this is ridiculous.
And you hung up before I could answer.
Yes, and there's a lot of good reasons, and tonight as the meeting goes on, you'll find out why those reasons, sir.
Well, let me answer.
Are you through?
Am I through? I only begun. Are you trying to cut me off already? You just have a good habit of this.
Well, you said something, and I wanted to respond to it.
That's fine, yes.
You said, since the beginning of the year, we, the other two supervisors, have been down at the garage. I have been down at the garage probably 4 times. We have a new roadmaster. We have a new foreman of the salt crew. It's only natural that someone, myself, or any of the supervisors, including you, would go down and check and see that everything was all right, check and see that there was salt, all those kind of things that possibly, since there's a new roadmaster, should be looked into. And also to encourage him. Say, hey, you guys are doing a good job. And that's the reason I went down to the garage.
My last words.
And as far as I'm concerned, that was a perfectly legitimate reason for going down to the garage.
My last words to the road crew in December. It seems like the board don't want me here. Yous know the job, yous know the procedures. You have better equipment than I had when I started. You have more manpower. The salt bins are full. The snow stakes are out. I wouldn't know of anything that you need to take over. Yous know how to do it. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to encourage them. They know what to do. They don't need people watching over them.
Nobody's watching over them, Arthur.
I don't know where you got the information about me. I think I've been in there once or twice, and it's not because of a lack of interest. It's because I have confidence in our roadmaster. I have confidence in the people that he's supervising, and I know that they don't need me looking over their shoulder, and I don't look over their shoulder.
When
Wait, let me finish.
Sure.
And when the auditors met, they approved an hourly rate for you. And I think our roadmaster knows that if he needs you, you're available. I think it would be micromanaging if we were to tell the roadmaster, why don't you call Arthur, why don't you call Arthur? As you said, they know their job, so if he feels he needs you, I'm sure he will.
Okay, let's take this step further. I didn't want to go into all of this.
You don't want to open this can of worms. is that
I
what you're
will,
saying?
I will,
I hope you will,
I will.
the whole way.
Who's the man who said, when it came to pay raises, that this is corporate America? The man at the top of the scale gets all the money. The man at the bottom gets virtually nothing. In the reorganization.
Have you ever
meeting.
been in business?
In business?
In business? Did you ever work for a big business?
This is not big business. This is
Did you ever
government
work
with
for a big
people's tax
business?
dollars.
Did you ever work for a big business? The boss gets the most money.
You know,
That's the way the whole world works that way.
and then you accused me of trying to run this township like a communistic country like we're in Russia.
And not only that, your pay is like almost $4 more than what the part-timers are. So why should they call you out and pay you $4 more than the part-timers?
Do you realize what it takes to be a roadmaster? Do you have any idea the hours you put in?
Well, we got the report, Arthur. We know every month you have been reporting to us about how hard it is to be a roadmaster. You come out with pages after pages of all the work you've done. So yes, we do have an understanding of how much work is involved. Because you told us.
As we get
Are you
further,
trying to say now that we don't know?
I'm sure you do not know what it takes to be a roadmaster.
Then why did you tell us all these things?
Because
Is there
that,
something you didn't tell us?
there's a report that you have to present of what you've done to justify the expenditure of the tax dollars.
So, there's a report in here from the roadmaster.
Yes, but there is other things involved. As we get further down this agenda, I will bring those things up. But there are much more involved in this thing. But the thing is, I didn't fail the road crew when I was accused of interfering.
I didn't accuse you of interfering with the road crew.
I was accused.
Well-
Not by me.
Who?
The roadmaster, hey, wasn't his fault. Wasn't the road crew's fault. You know, I stayed away from that building on purpose.
Good.
Because let them alone. Let them do their job. They don't need other supervisors
And what
down
happened?
there on
And
them.
what happened?
What happened when?
What happened when you stayed away and let them do their job? They did their job, right?
But there was an incident with
One
emergency
incident.
vehicles.
This is a brand-new roadmaster, and he messed up one time, that's what you're saying?
The week before, when the trucks were out.
And you were always perfect.
No, I wasn't. Oh, no, I didn't say that.
Oh,
No, those are your words.
no, I didn't.
But when you gotta back the trucks around on the road to get salt and cinders down, that's a safety issue to our trucks. That's a safety issue to our drivers. That's a safety issue to these residents. And because the call was late.
This
and
sounds
then
like
we had a
sour grapes because you're not running the road crew anymore.
No, I don't. I am happy I'm retired. I have more time to study all of the things that are going on in this
Then
township
how come you're making so much trouble if you're so happy?
because I get accused of trying to do the roadmaster in. That's not true.
Who's accusing you?
He did. And then we get to the case where I don't want to get in an argument. I want to leave the building.
And then you shove somebody.
I didn't shove anybody.
Yes, you did.
We bumped shoulders. That's
No.
the truth.
You shoved the
I shoved
roadmaster,
nobody.
and he could have taken you to court.
Well, I'm ready to go because they weren't right there. Didn't see. I didn't shove nobody. If I ever shove anybody, you'll know I shoved
Like
somebody.
I said, are you sure you want to open this can of worms?
Yes, I do. I'm
Well,
not
keep
finished.
going. How about the telephone? You want to open that can of worms?
Yes. Go ahead.
How many of your private phone numbers did you have on the phone?
Okay, I had a lot of private phone numbers, but here's the case with the phone. I didn't open this up, Carol. He did.
No, you opened the whole thing up. This is all
No.
part and parcel of the same thing. The
You-
executive session.
You wanted me to hand in the phone.
You
I
should have
was-
handed it in.
I was the roadmaster. There's emergency calls that come to me from this township for years on that telephone
Why?
number. Why?
Yeah,
Emergency
who
calls.
are you? The king of the township?
No, I'm not the king. I'm starting to believe some other people think they are, but here we are.
Who are you talking to now?
I'm not talking to anybody particular. Now, here we are. I get emergency calls. I get people call me all the time throughout the township. My phone was used 60 to 70% on township. We have other telephones that were
Why?
not used for township at all.
Why were you called?
Why was I called?
If you were called about the road, I could understand it. But why were you called about anything else? There's no way, you have no authority, you can't take any action.
Here we go. Mr. Reinert would call me sometimes about developments and roads. I get
That's in your bailiwick.
I get to talk
But how
to the
come you have
citizens.
240
You don't let me
phone numbers?
speak. May I? I left you speak.
Why don't you call
I
the
get
order?
calls about the park. I get calls with that are police issues. I get burning calls. I get roads to close sign calls. I get calls from the fire companies. I get calls on trees are down.
Oh, it's all roadmaster stuff.
Yeah, and you say I shouldn't have the phone.
No, roadmaster stuff, then the phone should have gone to the new roadmaster.
He has his own phone.
No,
Yes, he
they
does.
call your number. And that's how you knew about the roads.
The roadmaster had his own phone all these years. The new roadmaster has his own phone. We each had our own telephone.
I know that.
Well, then-
But the people called you.
Yes.
And you liked that because it made you important.
I don't like that.
Yes, you did.
No, they don't know who to call when nobody responds.
Because the new roadmaster should have had that phone. So anybody that called up about the road
He wouldn't want
condition,
my phone.
anybody that called, no, because you have all these private numbers on your company phone.
Okay, now we're talking private numbers. Hey, my phone is used probably 60 to 70%.
I have a specific question. The phone is owned by the township?
Mm-hmm. You're correct. You're
When you
correct.
stopped being the roadmaster, you should have turned the phone in because the township owned the phone. If you weren't the roadmaster anymore, the calls, if they went to you, you should have told the township, but you didn't do that, did you?
Here's the thing that happened. I wanted to keep the phone number. They wouldn't let me.
Why? If you keep the phone number, they're gonna call you
Yes.
about the road and you're not the roadmaster.
Okay, here's where we're down to.
The township owns the phone number because
I
the bill
realize
goes
that.
to the township.
Now, we're to the point where I could be charged.
We are to the point where we're having a childish discussion.
No,
When we
there's a
have
lot of
business to
things
do.
that have to come out, and it's gonna be repeatedly several times in this meeting.
Fine,
Now
let's-
you wanna
let's-
prorate me
let's-
for my phone rates. Well, I use my phone more in the township level than any of the other employees. How comes the other employees can use their phones at 80, 90% and I'll gladly pay my end of the phone rates, but then, you brought it up, Mr. Boyd, then all of them should be willing to be prorated and pay for 12 years of phone service.
Arthur, it's not
You
about
brought it
the
up.
bill. It's not anything to do with the bill. It is all about the road. The new roadmaster should have had the roadmaster's phone, so when people called in about the roads, he would know about it instead of you knowing about it and complaining.
How come I couldn't keep the phone number
Because it's a number that belongs to the township.
when a prior employee kept his phone number transferred over for a year and a half? Now,
I know nothing about that.
what makes one
Who was
employee,
this private employee?
Adam?
That's your son.
Yes. How come he got his transferred over and I couldn't get mine transferred
Because you
over?
were the roadmaster.
I was informed that Carol canceled the service.
Yes,
And Adam applied for the number and got it on
yes.
his own.
Why couldn't I do that? What made the difference between one employee and another
The
employee?
number belonged to the
Because
roadmaster.
the number is the number for the township roadmaster. It's not the number for Arthur
Well,
Zerbe.
then why didn't that number go to the new roadmaster? Can you imagine the poor person they give my phone number to someday? I pity them. They're gonna be getting phone calls from people all over the township and other phone calls.
Your phone number.
That phone is in the office. It's still plugged in. There's a message on it that Arthur Zerby has retired as roadmaster. If you have a road issue, call this number, or other township business, call the township number.
And that's correct.
And I think we should move on.
No.
Hey, wait, yes.
No.
You are out of order.
I'm not out of order, sir. I told you I have some road issues here and reports. You got a hand up back there, sir.
Yes?
Yes, I was just wondering, thank you for letting me talk. The phone number, you say it belongs to the township. That is not a township phone number. That belongs to AT&T or Sprint or whoever the provider is.
Well, we're
Okay.
paying for it.
Okay.
And, a phone number can be switched over into a private account. As far as,
Okay. Thank you for your
So
input.
now we get in,
no, as far as it pertaining to safety issues and everything, I myself personally called 3 times. I know of a stop sign that got run over down at Muddy Creek,
Mhm.
and specifically called my father.
3 signs were put up, it says in the road, in the report, yes.
When?
I can't tell you the date, but the report said stop signs were put up.
I'm talking this happened the last time over a year ago, not within what I'm getting at here is there's a lot of people in the township who have a private, they have the old roadmaster number, right?
Mhm.
For emergencies. There's a lot of farmers who have the number. They don't know anybody else to call. If they call the township, or if they call his phone now, they get the township number.
That's what they should
Right,
call the new
okay.
roadmaster.
Last night, we called the township, there was nobody here. Then who do you call?
Well, I think the message that's in there gives the roadmaster's phone number.
Yeah. Okay.
then we got into, right before I
Wait a
left,
minute, do you understand that? If you
Right,
call the
okay.
township and there's nobody in, you get a message.
Right.
And it gives you the number
And in
of the
meantime, There's
roadmaster.
an accident.
it doesn't give you the
You
number of the
know, I mean-
roadmaster. It doesn't give you the number of the roadmaster.
It doesn't give the number.
Okay.
I've
Then we
called
got
once.
into the part before I
You know,
left
mean,
them.
this here is.
Hey, wait, we're-
Where somebody.
Hey, it's not gonna be a lot of back and forth here.
It's a. it's- you
We
could
heard you, that's it now.
If he would have the phone, he could give the roadmaster a call, and it could be taken care of just like
Okay.
that.
Okay, thank you.
know. I mean,
Thank you.
it's a potential problem.
Then
Thank
we
you.
got into the part at, there in the beginning of the year where I was up in the office, the roadmaster come up, and I told him that you should not ever go to any seminars, workshops, or anything unless it's approved by the board. Now, I have the months before packet, and it is clearly stated in here that to send the new roadmaster to the low-volume road maintenance program, this should be approved by the board. At the same time, Mr. Wise had told the new roadmaster he wants him to go to the breakfasts to meet with the other roadmasters and have breakfast on Fridays. I had mentioned to him this has to be approved by the board. Well, lo and behold, he went to breakfast at the taxpayer's expense. You're paying for him for his hourly wage plus benefits, probably around $35 an hour to have breakfast on Fridays. Now what do we do? Make it.
Wait a minute. Well, you stated the problem, okay?
Yes.
That was the half-truth.
Okay.
Well, what's the other half of the truth?
On Friday mornings.
He was not ordered to go to breakfast.
He was asked if he
He
wanted
was
to.
told that he would be associating with roadmasters who have knowledge that he might not have received here.
Okay, did you
Would
advise
explain?
him it has to be approved by the board to be on the clock? Where you knew that before he left because we had a meeting just prior to that. When you're on the clock and you go anyplace, it has to be approved by the board. You just can't go on your own.
On Friday mornings, the supervisors and roadmasters from the surrounding townships get together down at Terry Hill at the diner, and we talk about roads and issues. It's a give and take kind of a thing. We learn a lot of valuable stuff, and we give away valuable stuff. we have entered into a consortium with the other townships in the area whereby we're buying material for the roads as a group and getting a much better price than if we were buying it by ourselves. So that's the purpose of these meetings. So we think the roadmaster should be involved in these meetings because roadmasters from the other townships are there.
Was Arthur invited to that meeting?
Yes.
I was invited to that meeting, never went to one, ever. Never went to the LTAP meetings, any of that.
Arthur does not want to interface with other roadmasters or other supervisors. He doesn't want to. And that's his prerogative. However, we want the new roadmaster to be able to go to a seminar or a meeting with other roadmasters to gain knowledge.
May I ask you a question?
Arthur, why don't you give it up?
No, what have you ever brought back to this board that has saved us tens of thousands of dollars by going to these breakfasts?
Well, if we didn't have a sneak attack tonight, we probably could have prepared something.
A sneak attack?
Yeah,
This
you.
meeting isn't over. There's other issues on here.
That's really good, Arthur.
No, I'm serious.
All right.
So, here we are, we have roadmasters that don't listen. He has his hand up back there, sir.
No, sorry,
No,
there's no back and forth here.
No. No.
I was just gonna.
You're out of order.
Oh, so swearing on the scanner from your road crew.
Hey, I heard it too.
I know,
heard
we
it
know,
too.
we have
We have a
absolutely
scanner,
no
we have a
knowledge of
young-
that.
An 8-year-old son at home, we listen to the scanner and that's acceptable.
Yes, I
It's
read it.
news. Totally news to us. If it happened, it shouldn't have happened.
Well, I made it aware to you now.
Okay, thank you.
So here we are, when suggested.
Do you
I
know
help-
who it was?
I do. I know the,
I have no
It was
idea.
last night.
It was
yeah,
last night.
I heard it.
I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and there's a lot of times that I have to take my time to go through because the roads are not cindered or anything.
Right.
And I live on Maple Grove Road, and it is very bad.
Well, that's a state road.
We do it.
We do it.
We do it to an extent, yes.
To an extent, we do it
Now,
all.
I have another question.
Now,
Like,
ma'am,
children-
this is not the question time.
There was a community open session that, and only,
Well, this was brought up, and I'm talking about my children here. I live in this township, correct? School Road, when I go through there at 3 o'clock in the morning, is a mess. When I come home at 1 o'clock, it is also a mess.
okay.
Now, my children go on that road. I pay taxes here. My family pays taxes here.
Right.
I've lived here for quite some time. I have never had a problem yet with my roads. Now, this year, I'm having a problem with my roads, and I'm very upset.
Okay.
I do not want to waste my time on Monday coming here, but now with the roads. and stuff
Wasting
the
your
way-
time to come to a
Yes.
township meeting?
Yes, I am, because I don't know about you, but I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Okay.
But this is something that needs to be addressed.
Your comments are, we thank you for your comments, and we will address it.
So where we're at here is our road crew, they know what they're doing. They're well-trained. If they fail, then I failed. That's the way I look at it. Because 15 years of setting up the programs, setting up this routes, building the salt shed bigger, building the bins, getting the trucks, getting more equipment, I don't want to see them fail. If they fail, I fail. The problem here is there's too much time being put into issues where the supervisors don't belong.